It actually reminds me of the term biomagnification, which refers to how plastic or metal poisoning can move up in a food chain. Okay, now hear me out. I am an environmental scientist after all. So basically, you have an itty bitty fish that eats some microplastics in the water. You know, an old credit card or some microbeads from your body wash. Yeah. And then you have a bigger fish that eats that one, and then a bigger one that eats that one, and then a bigger one, until you have a whale that eats, 10 fishes like the one we just saw. Now, apply that concept to the model minority myth, and you're faced with a rough reality. We have all been thrown into the belly of a whale, painted as the same, and now the compounded poison is collectively killing us. When you really break down the huge school of fish that is the entire model minority community, you see the multitude of diversity. You see South Asians, East Asians, Southeast Asians, and more. Each community is affected by its different things. Southeast Asians face high levels of deportations. South Asians face rampant Islamophobia and racism. And East Asians face fetishization and demasculization. And these are just merely a few examples of issues in these communities going underaddressed and underanswered, leaving us to sit in the mess. This myth pressures all model minorities to be successful at whatever possible cost, or hide their stories when they don't quite make it. Many people go years without hitting the imaginary gold that is the American dream, losing it all in the process, and often having to lie to those back home in other countries about their success. We are all trying to assimilate into the system. We are all trying to make it. And that means that model minority communities have the idea that we better be on our best behavior. By calling out issues in political and social spheres, we risk losing it all. This is how we are erased. This is how we remain invisible. How is it that we have a stereotype that all Indians work at gas stations and 7-Elevens, and yet they are also all call center representatives, and they're also all doctors and engineers? It is this very inconsistency that shows an example of the model minority myth folding itself over its own head. And unless we tell our stories, as many as we can put out there, we risk truly becoming invisible.